At the intersection of the supernatural and quantifiable, three wayward souls find themselves facing a world of the unknown and unexplained. Who among us can navigate the flickering boundaries between the paranormal and the scientific, and the questionable gray area in between? You're traveling through another dimension, a dimension not of sight, but of sound. We invite you into this world, Parasites, an actual play horror tabletop show, every other Saturday on InfinityBreak.net, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Podcast. It's a 30 Rock podcast with Lesley and Ben. Lesley and Ben, Jay. Gonna talk 30 Rock today. Podcast. It's a 30 Rock podcast with Lesley and Ben.
Bum 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 bum.
Very nice.
No rehearsals.
No rehearsals. I haven't been able to sing good for years.
You don't do the singing good?
Nah, not quite. Well, I do sometimes. Maybe not panicked with these huge ass headphones over my ears.
All right.
Live from tape, pre-recorded at our studios in Austin, Texas, and Portland, Oregon, it's Syndicated with Lesley and Ben. Hey everyone, I'm the Ben of that.
And I'm the Lesley. This is a twice-monthly podcast about television, genre, and storytelling in which we watch an episode of a show and explore the history of television one episode at a time.
Folks, today you may have heard my backing vocals in the form of our social media expert, Jay. Jay, how are you?
Doing great. So thrilled to be here and talk about 30 Rock today. So thrilled.
30 Rock's your choice, and I'm going to ask you what you like about the show in just a bit, but obviously I think we need to give our usual context at the very, very beginning. Jay, you, in addition to being our social media person at IB, you happen to also edit this program, so you know how this goes.
Mm-hmm.
We've got our little outline here, our little scripted outline where we talk about the plot and the cast and all that shit. We stick to the script a little bit, but we just kind of tangent out when we feel is appropriate. So let's get the ball rolling on that. Lesley, do you want to take it away?
Sure, absolutely. If you're just now tuning in, we are talking about, obviously, 30 Rock, NBC smash hit, and a self-referential sitcom about the making of NBC television. It's set at the fictional Girly Show, a sketch comedy show in the vein of NBC's own Saturday Night Live. Producer Liz Lemon, played by Tina Fey, grapples with her domineering and business-minded boss Jack Donaghy and her stubborn pen of staff, including homebody Pete Hornberger and the angelically weird NBC Paige Kenneth, and actors including Tracy Jordan and Jenna Maroney, two deeply self-centered narcissists whose antics interfere with the gears of TGS.
I realized that I just wrote this earlier today.
Yeah.
Right before we started recording.
Yeah.
And I said it's in the vein of NBC's Saturday Night Live. And the more I look at that, the more I think I don't know if that's technically right. Because I think it's more like... I've just been watching the first couple episodes of Mr. Show. It's more like one of those.
I don't think that it is, because in other episodes, not the one that we've talked about today, is they actually do they do have cue cards. They do say that they have musical guests that come on. They have pre-written sketches that there's like a writer's room that are partly improv. And it's front of a live studio audience. It's a live show. And I think, especially given that Tina Fey was on Saturday Night Live for so many years, I think that it definitely is homage to that show.
Oh,
not exactly,
for sure.
But
yeah.
I think
homage
in the vein,
for sure. But I think things like Key and Peele, Mr. Show, like all those kind of like, I'm thinking specifically because it's like, those are also in front of studio live audiences. They are there are pre-written, sometimes pre-filmed sketches, although I guess they're all live on this one. but especially because it's like a comedy duo in this case.
I mean, it's just a
Well,
variety show.
And that it's a
Sure.
variety show, and it is a little bit different because Saturday Night Live has a more breadth of a cast, but it isn't a
Mhm.
duo on the show. Did you watch the episode? Remember what happens?
Well, yes, this episode there's a third person.
And
But
at
like-
the, and
like-
in the first 4 seasons, there's a third person.
Oh yeah, the guy that can
Josh.
do impressions.
Yeah,
Mm.
That guy.
that guy who
From
they
earlier.
kind of wrote out. I don't know if they necessarily wrote him out, but
Yeah, no, I was just thinking because it's like it's primarily it's the Jenna and Tracy show.
well, it's called TGS with Tracy Jordan.
Right.
It's after the
right.
first
Right,
episode.
right.
They don't call it the girly show anymore.
Yes, I remember that from the first time that I watched some of 30 Rock, and I started at the beginning, and it did start
Mhm.
out as the girly show, and they're like, well, we can just call it TGS with Tracy Jordan because
Yeah. Because he's the star, and they needed him to like save the show essentially.
yeah,
Totally. Yeah, I guess the distinction in my head is that I was thinking about like, I was thinking that the show that they make doesn't cover like current events in the same way that SNL does. Whereas like SNL is half like,
See, I even would argue with that because there's times in the show where they do presidential and like political sketches. Like the show 30 Rock isn't about like TGS, but when you do see some, they have some that are like about Obama and George Bush and like other political of the time period.
sure. I think modern SNL very much feels like it is a political recap show first.
well,
Didn't always used to be, but
That's
feels like
not
way
true.
more
I
like
think
that
that
now.
that's
that's
partially
not true.
I think
that's
just
not true.
I feel like it feels like the political stuff is a lot longer because I don't understand it.
No,
And I go,
it's
why
not
the
true.
hell have they been talking about this for over 10 minutes? It's like, oh, it's only been 3.
I literally just watched a recap that some guy on YouTube watched one episode from every season.
You're
of
talking about
Saturday
Drew
Night Live.
Gooden.
Yes, I am.
Yes, I've
And
seen
he-
that episode that he does.
Well, he discusses in that episode how it's always been political and how they've had political sketches on there for the entirety of Saturday Night Live's run. So I don't think that it's more prevalent now. I think the difference now is that now we live in the age of the internet where we know about political shit all the time, and therefore we are much more exposed to it, and it's more of the topic than it used to be.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
No, agreed. I just don't. From what I remember of this show, I just recently rewatched all of season 1 of 30 Rock. I just don't remember the it being as much of a political recap show as 30 Rock is. Or excuse me, sorry, the
Yes,
other way
yes,
around.
no.
The
Yeah.
girly show is as much as Saturday Night Live is. It just reminds me of, especially because it's like a 2-person comedy duos, like weird sketch show in which they play all the parts, as opposed to like the big ensemble team that is SNL. It just made me
Right.
think of like those smaller shows that like Key and Peele or whatever, where they kind of show off their, they do a little bit of a kind of a dialogue and then they're like, and now our sketch, and but that's pre-recorded anyway. It's a mixture.
It's
of both, which I
unlike
found a little
anything on
interesting.
television.
Unlike anything on television, that's right. Tina Fey plays Liz Lemon, the witty and sardonic head writer of The Girly Show, whose managerial skills cannot grapple with the cats that she has to herd on a weekly basis. You, of course, know Tina Fey from her SNL career as the producer of Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, and for her voice work, including recently and kind of controversially, Soul for Disney.
Yeah. Alec Baldwin is he's Alec Baldwin from movies. He's Alec Baldwin. He was in Beetlejuice. He was really sweet in Beetlejuice. I had kind of a crush on him in Beetlejuice, to be honest.
He's cute in Beetlejuice.
He's cute in Beetlejuice.
And then I go, what the hell, Alec?
What happened to that, Alec? Oh, you know what else he was good in? The Shadow. He was really good in The Shadow. Anyhoozle, he plays
Only
Jack
the shadow
Donaghy.
knows Lemon.
He plays Jack Donaghy, NBC executive in charge of television programming and appliance development. Jack has no experience in show business and is obsessed with working his way up the corporate ladder through networking and bold moves, some of which negatively impact Liz's workload. And I mean, I don't know. You may know him from his SNL career as well. Maybe.
Yeah, he played someone important recently. I don't remember.
Yeah,
who.
Yeah, I don't remember who it was. It was some guy. I don't know. He played somebody recently on SNL. Probably. I don't know. I'll never watch it.
Tracy Morgan, who plays Tracy Jordan, you may know from his SNL career. Tracy Jordan is an action movie star who is hired by Jack to boost the ratings of TGS. Tracy Morgan is a stand-up comic who was hired by NBC to be on 30 Rock. Much like the problem that we ran into with Workaholics. In fact, I think I maybe made a mistake earlier in this script. Tracy Morgan and Tracy Jordan are one individual separated by one letter.
There actually is a funny bit in one of the episodes where he's like on drugs or something, and he goes, "My real name's Tracy Morgan. We're on a TV show," and it's like it's
Wow.
so in character for him, but it's really funny.
Tracy was on SNL for a number of years. He had his own sitcom that didn't quite pan out in 2003, and he's currently making The Last OG with Jordan Peele and Keenan Ivory Wayans. Tracy is surrounded by his entourage of yes men and assistants, some of who are the calmest voices on the show. I love .com.
Excellent stuff. Jenna Maroney is played by Jane Krakowski. Jenna is the original primary cast member of TGS, The Girly Show, for one episode, and Liz Lemon's former comedy partner from college. She's got weird international licensing deals and a really massive ego, but she does hit her marks and she knows her lines. So you may recognize Jane Krakowski from Ally McBeal, where she played a recurring character.
My film, which is coming out soon, The Royal Juror.
The Royal Juror.
What is the name of... Liz, what is the name of that movie?
She's on Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt too.
That's right, she is. She plays
She plays
she's the woman that
She plays that Native American woman, yeah.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
It's been a while since I've seen it. Jack McBrayer plays Kenneth Parcell, an NBC page who acts as a floor assistant to the studio that TJS films at in the 30 Rock building. Kenneth is weird. He's from Atlanta, I think. Stone Mountain, Georgia. That's it.
Stone Mountain, Georgia.
He comes from, it seems, a deeply religious family. He's obsessed with television, and it's implied he's immortal. Jack McBrayer has a thriving voice acting career for it looks like mostly Disney. On Phineas and Ferb for a good 50 episodes or so.
Oh yeah,
and he's the voice of Fix-It Felix.
I loved Wreck-It Ralph so much.
Who doesn't love Wreck-It Ralph? The cast is rounded out by several other actors, some of which are the writers of the show. We have Scott Atzett as Pete Hornberger, the, I guess, co-producer of TGS. It kind of seems like in the pilot, I always interpreted it as him and Liz kind of swap places. That he's like the original executive producer, and then Liz kind of gets promoted above him after he gets fired in episode 1.
I don't take it that way.
No?
I take it because she, in other episodes, she says that she wrote and created The Girly Show because there wasn't enough women on television. And she brought Pete on to help her create the show. And then they laid him off because he was like, cost too much money to have 2 showrunners or whatever it is.
Right. I think that was it, is that they had like a co-position.
They had.
And then.
Yeah, I guess you could see that it was a co-position
and then he got fired and rehired, and now it very much seems like he is the second in command instead of being the equal in command.
And I think he's happy with it because he does not love his job.
he took a pay cut. He has a little less responsibility. Oh, well, maybe more because he has to wrangle Tracy. And of course, we have Judah Friedlander as Frank Rossitano.
Oh, I love Judah Friedlander so much.
Keith Powell is Twofer. .com and Grizz, as we mentioned, those are Kevin Brown and Grizz Chapman, and John Lutz is JD Lutz. Also, I guess we can get into it, but boy howdy does this show use its star power with the amount of like celebrity cameos it brings in. Everyone from Martin Sheen, Matt Damon, like all sorts of.
Sure, it's like Entourage Light, really.
Yeah, Conan O'Brien's in a couple. All sorts of. Well, we'll get into this about the self-referential aspect of it.
I was
lots
about
of
to
NBC
say,
talent.
It's really insular. I was going to say.
Lots of
in that regard.
Yeah, lots of Saturday Night Live people, lots of NBC sitcom people, both past and present. It's a real blast of a show. Lastly, the episode that we watched today is Problem Solvers. In an attempt to bring in fresh blood, executive Jack Donaghy once again hires a new cast member to The Girly Show. A living Statue Street performer who hasn't acted in years. While new hire Danny is wandering around the set without instruction, Liz is attempting to leverage her recent personal fame into a talk show that Jack is trying to produce without her. Meanwhile, Tracy and Jenna form the Problem Solvers, a two-person task force whose mission is to problem people solves. At least that's what their t-shirts say. So, Jay, I've got a question for you. You brought this one up to us. Why? I see you have a visual aid on hand.
This, first of all, for those listening at home, in my hand I have the world's most adorable orange tabby. His name is Lemon. I named him after Liz Lemon. I am that much of a fan of the show. And also, when I get mad at him, I sound like Jack Donaghy. Lemon! Get off the counter, whatever I'm saying to him. But he's just a little baby. He's sitting here. Why 30 Rock, you ask? Well,
Yes,
I wasn't
why 30
prepared
Rock?
for this question. 30 Rock is an amazing show. I love television, and this show is all about making television. One thing I specifically love about this show, and I think shows even in this episode we were watching, is I feel like at this time, so much of television, I mean, The Office was popular. It was like this guerrilla kind of dry television. This one is so full of color and light and theatrical trickery and music, and I love it, and I think it just adds a good fullness to the show that you don't always see in television. There's like a high production value in the show.
Top of my notes, it just says this show is so polished.
Yes, literally.
Which is absolute praise from a production standpoint.
Yeah.
Jog my memory, people who are more familiar with The Office than I am. Does The Office have a score? Other than the main theme?
No, it doesn't at all.
It doesn't have a score at all. And something that's actually really interesting, because I just a couple days ago went back and was watching the pilot of this, they were kind of actually trying to do that in the first few episodes. Like, it was this kind of like dead. First of all, the color was very flat and monotone. There was no kind of quirky little bum 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 bum, like kind of strings or whatever in the back. They were just flat delivered lines. Kind of like in kind of like in The Office, where it's just very reality in that way, just like there's no theatrics. But that's something I love about this show, is all the theatrics, and it comes out a lot in this episode specifically.
Totally. We have a phenomenal score by Jeff Richmond, who is Tina Fey's partner. They've been married since 2001. And he is responsible for this incredible, like, orchestrated, like, vocal and jazz soundtrack that's throughout 30 Rock, a lot of which is permutations of the 30 Rock theme that we replicated perfectly at the beginning of this episode. But honestly, I think it's like snazzy background music is like such a, I think if you're to draw a key distinction between it and The Office, that The Office is like so largely musically silent, and that this has like this weird swinging jazz sound to it. I think it's like such an enormous and clear like marker between the two. I love the energy of the show, like you said, the stylization.
And I think sometimes it's fun because there's this, like, it's not always reality. It's television, but there's things like, if we can even get into some specific examples, I love when Kenneth at the end of the episode says, Kenneth, and Tracy says, I know Kenneth knows what I want before I even want it. And then Kenneth goes, who's hungry? And he pulls out a pizza box. And Tracy goes, I wanted waffles. And he opens the pizza box and it's full of waffles. And then like Jenna, all of them go, hooray! And that is just such like a funny, very just theatrical, over the top. It's not based in reality, and that's what's fun so often about the show, is just like the characters are playing in this world.
Earlier this season we were talking about the Larry Sanders Show.
Yes, we were.
And we were talking about how like that seemed to be filmed in like a real office building,
right?
And it was like very, very natural dialogue as people were like moving around the set,
right?
And they seemed to be like reacting like very naturally to each other. Like Gary Shanley would make like a snide remark at Rip Torn, and then you see Rip Torn kind of do his weird Grinch face, like watch it, or stuff like that. And I think, again, to draw comparisons, because that's technically what this show is about. The dialogue in this show is like so heavily stylized. Like everyone's like, I don't want to say overblown, because that sounds like I'm trying to describe something negative, but like, I don't know. Everyone's kind of belting it out.
I feel like everyone's fully living in this stylized world. And it's
I feel like this is what happens when you take a theater production with theater projection and tell them, okay, say everything the exact same way that you would say it on stage, but use your inside voice because this is for TV. Like that's how I feel the acting style is throughout the show. It's all very it's a little bit fantastical because nobody converses this way. Nobody
No, yeah.
talk and everyone on this show has the same timbre, has the same syntax. Like it's very much its own slightly off fantasy version of the real world
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
dialogue.
Yeah. Tracy and Jenna are like kind of like impossibly stupid at points. Like, I mean, like, no shit, that's what comedy is. But if they were like, if they were actually that incompetent, they would not be working.
Oh, sure.
But like, like they play like that kind of like absurdity. Like what's the greatest way someone can misinterpret what they're being told?
Yeah.
Have Tracy
Yeah.
do that. What's the most swaggering, decision Jack can make? Go for that. It's that kind of stuff. Even like Tracy's visual acting. There's at one point in this episode where he says like, "I hope the new guy isn't a problem on set like some people," and he's like jabbing his thumbs like backwards toward him, like indicating himself. Oh, he's not a problem on set like some people or whatever.
Right.
Like, of course, no one would admit like I'm the worst part of this workplace.
Right.
Like that.
Yeah, definitely. So I have a question for you, Jay, as well. So you've chosen 30 Rock and you clearly have a lot of passion and love for this show. What is it about this episode specifically that made you choose this one for us to watch?
I'm so unprepared for this question. The reason why pulls up notebook. The reason why I wish it was something smart. The genuine reason is because Kenneth says, "Who said I've been alive forever?" That's like the main reason why I picked this episode, because I just find that whole subplot through the entire show where Kenneth is immortal or like some godlike being hilarious. I also think it's a good episode just because I think it is interesting because they don't really focus on making the show very much in this episode. Also, the writers aren't really in this episode, like Frank, Toofer, Lutz. They're not really featured in this episode very much at all. But
barely.
Yeah, they're barely in this episode. I think they're at the beginning when Danny arrives, but I think it's got a good amount of kind of different things that are happening. I like the subplot of like Jenna and Tracy, the plot of Jenna and Tracy trying to help. You also get to see kind of the work relationship really tested between Jack and Lemon, and I think is something that if we're looking at like what is a workplace comedy, I think that this episode kind of encapsulates that, where you get a little bit of like the boss kind of stuff, you get a little bit of like the coworker disputes, you get a little bit of like the underlings kind of, those sorts of things. So I feel like it's a good mix. I also think there's a lot of really funny jokes in the episode. One of them being, "Who said I've been alive forever?" I love Kenneth.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Excellent. Thank you for answering that completely random question that
Completely
you had
random
no
that I
idea
had no
was
idea
coming.
was coming. Yeah.
No idea.
We like to play
funny.
softball here on Syndicated.
Listen, it's not softball. Like, you know what, Ben? Fuck you. It's an important question.
Yeah.
It's important for people to know. It's important for me to know. I want to know.
People are expecting it. They come to
Syndicated. They come to Syndicated. They want to know why the show and why the episode. It's a format, Ben.
I know.
It's a format.
I was starting on the fact that you can guess what the questions are going to be because we ask them every time.
It's very
not
cute.
that they're bad questions.
The fans want to know.
What's everyone's history with the show? I started watching it, I think, as it was ending. I think I started catching it on Hulu during its like last 2 seasons.
Okay. I started watching, well, I mean, I've never watched it in earnest. I have seen episodes. I watched quite a few episodes from the first season when it was in the height of its popularity some years back. I watched a few episodes from the first season and I found them to be quite funny at the time. It was not a show that I found myself attached to necessarily. So like if it was on or if I happened upon it, it was fun. It was funny. And obviously, there are tons of memes regarding the show that I'm familiar with that I can quote, even though I haven't even seen the episode. I think we just did one earlier, in fact. And I can't think of it right now. But yeah, so that's my history, more or less. I'm an extremely casual viewer, casual enough that I know the premise, I know most of the characters, I know some of the plot of some episodes, but that's about it.
I don't know when I started watching this show, genuinely. After it went off air for sure. But I've seen every single episode at least once, most of the episodes twice.
Yeah, I think I've watched it beginning to end.
I've watched it to beginning to end. I've watched it in many different ways. So I've seen some of the episodes maybe 3 or 4 times, but yeah.
Yeah, it's such a rich treasure trove of ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Again,
Well,
I think because it's not like other shows that we've mentioned, other shows that we've covered, it's not constrained to real life in any way. I think a little more like Better Off Ted.
Yeah.
Where it's willing to inject certain degrees of absurdity. It can go in a lot of like really weird ways. The Leap Day Man episode.
Oh my god, such a good one.
That kind of nonsense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I have to say, I feel like why is it always me, Ben? Why am I always the voice of dissent when we have a guest on who's like, watch this episode of this show, it's great. And I'm like, well, actually, it's always me. It's always me.
You didn't
it's
like
never
the episode?
You. Well, it's not that I didn't like the episode. It's the show has got problems. It's got some real problems. It does not hold up well. The episode had a couple of jokes. I can't recall them right now, but that made me go, oof. I don't know about that one.
Is it the one when he gets her book from China and it says lesbian yellow sour fruit? I literally wrote that down.
So there's that. Well, I feel like there were a couple, but definitely that one. But it's not just this episode. It's the show as a whole. As we all know, elephant in the room. They pulled some episodes because they had blackface in them. We all know this. Lots of shows did it. Scrubs had to do it. And I love Scrubs, so I'm not. That's not part of my gripe. It's not part of my gripe at all.
Always Sunny pulled like 4 or 5 episodes.
Yeah. I mean, great shows had to do it because it was of a time or whatever.
Something that's really interesting about the blackface controversy is the exact episode, which has now been pulled from Hulu, is that it was the live show episode, which they had done an East Coast recording and a West Coast recording. In the East Coast recording, there was a bit where John Hamm, who in the show canonically loses his hands, got a hand transplant from a black prisoner. And so his hand was like this, and it was black from the top up, and that the hand tries to strangle him. Something that I find interesting is that in the West Coast live show, which they continue to air, is that the bit is that he has a woman's hand and that the hand tries to feel him up and like tries to like go down his and jerk him off. And I'm like, do you understand? I don't know. This one I go, yeah, and maybe in a few years they'll pull that one too. I don't know. You know what I mean though?
Yeah.
Where I'm like, is there a little bit of transphobia stuff in there?
Well, there's transphobia in the show in general.
Transphobia about every single episode of season 1.
In just about every episode. Yeah,
I mean, even in season 1, they like Liz Lemon goes on a date with a lesbian. Remember that one? It's like season 1, episode 3. Like
yeah,
I don't think I
early on.
Saw that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's
so. Also, I have to say, this has nothing to do with the specific episode that we watched. That I will say. But there was a guest appearance in an episode by Peter Dinklage, which of course I watched because Ben and I have discussed my appreciation of that man many times. But in the
Jay,
episode,
how could you possibly know this? Lesley and Peter Dinklage are friends.
We're not friends. Stop it. No, we're not.
He
did buy me a shot of whiskey. Oh, yes, he bought me a shot of whiskey once. That is real. That really happened. That's real talk.
Which episode are you talking about with him in it? I'm trying to remember.
I don't know the name of the episode or the season because I only watched the clips where he was in it. But in the episode, Liz Lemon meets a guy on the street.
Oh, yeah, and thinks he's a child.
Yeah. And then feels bad about that fact. And so then says, oh, no, I just thought you looked so your hair looks so good. Let's go out. And they literally go out on dates because she's trying to cover up the fact that she thought that this grown man was a literal child. So like, I don't know. I have so many opinions and thoughts about 30 Rock and the bubble in which it was created, and how, like, people make jokes like you couldn't make Blazing Saddles now. Like, you really could not make 30 Rock now. Like, the writing on this show is like so deeply entrenched in a simpler, weirder time in which white people just did not care about minorities at all and could just release anything on television and have it look pretty friendly and have it look pretty polished, have it look pretty good, and then have to, like, the things that they're going to be apologizing for later on. Like you said, like with the woman's hand thing, it's interesting to see. It's interesting. This show intrigues me in a way, because it interests me to see how far we've even come in this, like, what, 8 years since it went off the air in 2013. It's so interesting to see, like, how far we've come to the point where now we're like, holy shit, you can't make jokes about violently having sex with your wife while she's sleeping. That's rape. Like, you can't, like it's, so that's why I am the voice of dissent on this show in general. That said, this episode had a lot of really, really, really funny points, and I also have a favorite joke that we'll talk about later, but was already kind of spoiled. But it's fine. It's cool.
It does have, look, because it's like a mid-late 2000s thing, it does have a little bit of the kind of equal opportunity offender vibe. Same thing that's present in, like, Arrested Development,
and that's kind of what I'm getting at. Is it's, you're absolutely right. Is that there was a period of time in general, like, I would like to go back to a lot of those things that I used to enjoy and look back at them and say, now, what was that joke of? Like, what's the punchline of this joke, or who's the punchline of this joke? And so part of me really does wonder if this is kind of the impetus behind a lot of people with less empathy and less caring to say stupid shit like, well, I guess you just can't make jokes anymore, blah, blah, blah. Like, is it because so many of the things that they previously loved have now been proven to be the P word, which I don't like saying the P word because that word in itself is the P word for different reasons, problematic. So, because,
I'll beep that out. Yeah,
problematic. You can't, because you can't even, no, you can't, you can't use the word problematic anymore because it's been so misappropriated at this point.
Agree.
It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, I think
like you just can't. But I'm just saying, like I think that this television show is one of at least 20 in this time period, in this time bubble, where this was a natural and constant occurrence in which we would make these jokes, and I'm not sure why, but we would, and we would be like, ha ha, those people. And it's odd to look back at now. And it's even more odd to think that a lot of this show's success to lay people who don't appreciate things like this fantastical dialogue style or this really tight editing, like what they're resonating with is the weird low-key bigotry. It's very, very odd.
I think there was a time around when we elected Obama in which there was kind of the attitude of like, all right, we did it. We have become the capital P progressive society. Now we can look back at our past selves and we can laugh. And by our past selves, I mean, like, it's okay if the bigotry is funny because we did it. We hit progressiveness.
We fixed racism.
I think this is a problem with Tina Fey, genuinely. I actually am not a really big fan of Tina, even though this is one of my favorite television shows. I think purely because of the cinematic and theatrical style, like the styling in it is perfect. A lot of the jokes are not funny, but Tina Fey is a self-proclaimed feminist. And I think at this time in the show, and you can see it, like Liz Lemon was the antithesis. Does this make sense? She was like, this is so groundbreaking for a woman like Liz Lemon to be the protagonist of a television show. She talks about farting. She talks about eating cheese. She talks about sloppy clothes. Look at the most, arguably, and they reference this in the show, one of the most well-known television shows about a woman in New York, Sex in the City, the sex
Yeah.
positive, like all these other things. Carrie had her problem, sure, but it was not necessarily in this way that was as translucent as like Liz Lemon's character is, and how her
Yeah.
character like flaws are supposed to be so apparent. Like she's just a woman, you know, trying to make by, and these are people that exist, and she doesn't have to be perfect and is very three-dimensional. That was very revolutionary at the time.
And not
Unfortunately.
revolutionary when Lena Dunham did it, and yet we still have to look at her. But
God,
no, like it's like Liz Lemon already did it. Lena Dunham, she already did it.
Yeah.
Like,
So
we didn't need that.
And so it's like, it's interesting in that regard because that's a big part of it. And I mean, and Liz like has if you look at the whole show as an entirety, she has a big story arc about femininity, and motherhood is a really big part of it for her, like where she has difficulty conceiving. She kind of goes through this adoption process, trying to be a single mom to adopt, all these other things. But there are still a lot of like negative stereotypes, I think, in the show. And to this day, I mean, even look at Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, like what's the character's name? Dong Ho or something, the one like Asian character, Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, the one guy. I think Tina Fey is still playing on these stereotypes.
I feel like the world has learned a lot, and Tina Fey has not as much.
Yeah,
I was literally getting ready to say that as you were like starting. Is that like
it's because we're like this, Ben?
I know.
Besties.
Besties. It's because
as we've hit more considerate times, our audience's comedy sensibility has evolved, but I don't think Tina Fey's writing has.
Yes, that's exactly it.
And that a lot of people look back at 30 Rock and be like, oh, well, that was dicey. But it's been after the fact. Whereas now, I guess, is it off the air?
Yes, it is. It's been off since. Are you talking about 30 Rock or Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt?
No, Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
It is. I think they're done with it. But, and I mean, again, Tina Fey wrote this character for Jay Gagnon, this Native American whitewashed woman. That's like a whole plot on there.
Woo, I remember that.
And I mean, and you could also even think about like her writing. I mean, and again, DeFuan, he's not in this episode, but he is Titus Burgess, and he is a main protagonist on Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, plays this kind of same like gay black man character.
Yes, he does.
And it's like, how is Tina Fey writing these narratives, and like what is she saying about these stories that and I feel like so often though it's like, it's okay, Tina Fey's a feminist though, you know what I mean?
Right.
I think about like her and Amy Poehler, and I go, ugh, because it's like,
when I think about Tina Fey though, like I guess for me, when I think of Tina Fey and Amy Poehler together, I'm like, I really hope that Amy Poehler is the friend who, when they're having wine together and Tina Fey says something dumb, that Amy Poehler is the anchor who's like, you can't, no, that's dumb. Like, no, you got to be a little better than that. I hope that that's who Amy Poehler is, and that's who she is in my mind, and I won't believe anything else until proven otherwise, which will probably happen someday because the world is terrible and everybody is bad. Yeah. So,
interestingly, I think the version that you have in your head is Liz and Lesley.
Well, I don't watch Parks and Rec for reasons that you know, so maybe. I don't know. But it's not because of Parks and Rec.
Oh, yeah.
Because Rashida Jones gives me diarrhea. I've told you this.
I don't like Rashida Jones.
She gives me diarrhea. Oh my God, I hate her so much.
On The Office, I hate her.
I hate her.
Yeah, I don't like her at all.
I'm sure she is probably an incredibly nice lady.
Did she know that the camera was on? Did she know that they were recording?
But so Rashida Jones gives me like visceral diarrhea, and so that's why I don't watch. So if it is a fact that I just described Liz Lemon and Leslie Knope, not intentional, because I don't watch Parks.
Yeah, but I feel like even Liz Lemon is a self-proclaimed feminist, and she always does things. I mean, that's even sometimes to her own fault, where she'll like, there's episodes where she's like, I'm gonna go green, and she buys all this Tupperware and like tries to do these things, but they just become like unfoiled, and she ends up going back to her old like ways or whatever. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Well, and I think that's the joke, and that's a smart one.
I think it's even like a show joke, because it's like she wrote the girly show to be, and they make jokes about this all the time. She's like, I wrote the girly show to be this feminist television show to showcase women in comedy, but it's like they just do freaking fart like fart monkey or whatever
it is.
Bear versus Robot, and it's like those are the sketches they write, and they're not like enlightening or comedic, and the things that they make Jenna do are not progressive in any way. And the show recognizes that, but it's still like,
Hey,
it's
if
interesting.
if you say that it's feminist, I don't know.
So that's something, yeah, that we're kind of just now getting to, is like the show they're making sucks.
Oh,
Yes,
literally.
it does.
Like,
yes.
not even that it's like fake corny funny, but like, between the intercom announcements that say like, now filming for, or whatever, can someone get to the stage for this show?
Oh yeah, Jenna
Like,
Maroney
those
for
shows
Stinky
sound,
Baby Grandma.
yeah, those shows sound bad.
Yeah.
The reviews they canonically get inside the show are bad.
I think they even get one
yeah.
this episode where they got a D- in women's health.
Yeah.
Yes, it is
The-
canonically a bad show.
Yeah.
Yeah, the reason Tracy is there and the reason they hire Danny is because the show keeps needing ratings boosts because
Too
the
right.
show's bad.
Well, Danny, air quote Danny.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I guess we're both named Jack. No, we aren't.
I know
That was a good
this
joke,
show
though.
is worse than sports shouting. Am I
But
right,
yeah,
everybody? Remember reference to, those are one of my notes. I'm crossing that out because we talked about it.
it's just so funny that like obviously there's all this. It's all these people working together, and it's all about like them herding cats to try to get like everything working together. And there's these big social problems, and I don't want to have to apologize to Tracy over this, back and forth, and it's all for a mediocre, weird sketch show.
Yeah. Well, hey, stakes are high when that's what you do. Stakes are high when that's what you love, Ben.
I mean, hell, even in the Larry Sanders Show, it's implied Larry has lower ratings than every other late night host.
Yeah.
It's implied he is not as famous as Leno and Letterman and Arsenio.
Sure.
He's like, well, what are they doing? What are they doing that we can do? Do we need to give better merch to our guests? Is that what we need to do?
That episode was so good.
That
Anyway.
episode was so fun.
Anyway.
Yeah, no, I don't know. It's fun. I love how the show uses its star power. I was just scrolling through that list, and there are so many NBC names here. Conan O'Brien, Chris Matthews, Oprah Winfrey, David Schwimmer, Jerry Seinfeld. Like, it's just, I don't know. It really pulled in the talent, which I think works for a show that's so self-referential about TV, about NBC.
Yeah.
I saw not a criticism. Well, I guess a bit of a criticism a while back that was like, 30 Rock is so cynical and mean-spirited about every subject it touches. And for most of that, it feels weirdly mean and out of place. Except it's always correct about the media landscape. When they're always talking about like show business. Mm-hmm. That like their jokes, as we mentioned earlier, directed at like minorities or social misunderstandings can seem either downright offensive or like weirdly mean-spirited. But then when they're talking about like the Scheinhart Wig Cabletown NBC Universal Comcast merger,
yeah,
or shit like,
or they do a couple bits about like on TV advertising too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and even in
Wayne
this episode,
Boggs Carpet World,
Boggs Carpet World, Wayne Boggs Carpet World. In this episode too, I love that they do. It's like the bit of the continuity joke. It's right at the beginning. Mm-hmm. I'm like, that's a joke for the theater and film people. That is the joke for the fan. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
like that joke isn't
definitely
funny unless you like TV, and I feel like that's what this show is for. Is for people that like TV.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one for sure.
And I love TV.
Yeah, of course. So do we.
So do we.
But it was saying that like the jokes that last the longest, as it were, are the jokes about how media and television are made and all that, and like all the cynicism that goes into that, whether it's whether it's like the weird advertising or the fact that they're owned by 6 different companies. I think it's in season 1 where Jack pulls down this giant like chart down from the wall, and it shows the entire like corporate tree of NBC. Mm-hmm. He's like, now see, Scheinhart Wiggs owns NBC Studios, which owns Universal Pictures, which owns 30 Rock.
Yeah, right. Right.
I mean, and in the later seasons too, when NBC was literally being bought by Comcast, they do the Scheinhart like they do that whole thing in the way that it's like probably the NBC people were really reacting to, which makes it a little bit current in some way, current political events.
Yeah. Or the fact that Jack himself is that he's a General Electric executive, that he works for GE and gets put in charge of SNL. Because it matters. He's like, do you think you can incorporate our new oven into this sketch? And Liz is just like, no, I can't. Why would I have to? Lesley, shall we do our credits?
Well, I think that before we do our credits, I have got plenty of time for us to talk about our favorite jokes first.
All right. Favorite jokes. Lesley, you said you had one in the chamber?
Yeah, but it was spoiled already.
We'll say it anyway.
It's okay. I'm going to say it anyway. It's when Jay was talking at the beginning of this episode, talking about the pizza gag, like he knows what I want before I want it, and then it's like, hey, I got pizza. It's like, oh man, but I wanted waffles, and he's like, oh, that was it. That was it. Like that was so good. Like I feel bad that obviously the problem solvers T-shirt gag consistently was really great. I loved that one as well. Those are both good. I really did love that. So again, like my favorite joke, definitely the pizza box gag with the waffles inside. But I will say that the whole premise of quote unquote Danny not being a real actor and thus not even knowing how to ask pages for things and causing that B-plot spiral was also incredibly enjoyable to me.
I did love Pete's advice, which is never learn anything, because if you learn things, people will expect things from you.
Yes.
Or if you look like you know what you're doing, people will expect things from you.
Oh no, my kid's sick.
Oh, my kid's sick. I'm sorry. He pulls that twice. It's so good.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Mine, I think, is the extended T-shirt gag. I think it's the
good.
It's specifically when Jack is walking away from Liz and turns, and you just see Tweedledee and Tweedledum standing there, with their little matching T-shirts. And Jenna says something like, it's us, the problem solvers. And Alec Baldwin does this incredible thing where he like half cocks his head down to look at the shirts of both of them and goes, okay. And then just launches into his question.
Still lots of good jokes in this show.
Assesses the situation, knows this is going to go poorly, goes for it anyway.
Okay.
And then the immediate follow-up gag of, should we switch positions or switch shirts? Let's do both and be sure. And then like Jenna reaches down for like the bottom of her shirt, smash cut, and then they're wearing each other's shirts in the opposite positions. You can see Tracy's entire gut, and Jenna's shirt is way too big.
That one was choice. That was choice. Just, better do both to make sure. That was choice.
Yeah.
That was choice.
Yeah. That was just incredible visual momentum. How again it looks like she's about to remove the shirt. They look like they're about to switch positions. They seem excited, and then bam.
Yeah.
It was just the movement to the stillness smash cut was just perfect.
It was. I agree with you.
Anyway, that was the best part for me.
My favorites is what I wrote down. Are you as turned on as me right now? Where they're when she's talking to Jack, and then it's like, you didn't get the exact sexual tension of what he was saying. Just typical Jenna. I just love those. I also love the different shirts ones. Who said I've been alive forever? I also liked in kind of a reference to the reality of television when Kenneth is like, well, there will be no network, but I want to be running whatever there is. And I go, yeah, that's pretty true, where there's eventually just going to be no networks. And
there we go. Cynicism about the state of media.
Yeah, literally. And I go, Kenneth, look, and your Hitler Youth haircut. That's what that's so funny.
Look, it was a bad idea and it failed, but there was a chance Quibi could be the next future of television.
It tried. Hey, look, Quibi may have walked so that who knows what could run. You don't know yet. We don't know yet.
Instead of quick bite, Quibi, we might be getting... Listener, write in your own acronym.
Yeah, tell us what you think is going to be next.
How about we get Bitsy, where it's just 10 seconds of a television show, but you have to pay $1 just to watch the 10 seconds. Just bite-sized television.
But enough about HBO. All right. Anyway, on that note, I'm sorry, Jay, you're the guest. Anything you want to say real quick before we do credits?
The show is funny. It's got funny parts, but there's just... Tina Fey, you're not a feminist. Tina Fey, I know you listen to Syndicated, and you're not a feminist.
Thank you, Jay.
Yeah, that's the thing. Just update your writing a little bit.
Yeah.
Your character maybe shouldn't have been in Soul. Anyway, folks, you can find me online at Ben C. Hamlin. That's BenChamlin. My name is, of course, Ben Hamlin. You can check out my other work, Parascience, an exploration of the supernatural and unquantifiable. New chapter started recording a couple days ago. Really excited to release that soon. Lesley, where can people find you?
You can find me at Vanetti on Twitter, Vanetti. I talk about a number of subjects, all of which are super fascinating and cool, as am I. Come follow me.
Jay, where can people find you? This is your Ivy debut.
Well, Ben, you can find me as the editor of Syndicated and on the Ivy Media social pages. So you can't find me anywhere on the internet other than on infinitybreak.net.
Hell yeah. Jay, thank you so much for joining us. Hope to have you on in the future. It sounds like you want to talk about the Muppets at some point.
Oh, God, do I?
We're going to get to the Muppets someday, and you're going to be our person for that.
I can't wait when you guys do puppetry workplace comedies.
Yeah, once we get to puppetry workplace comedies, and it's season 40 when we're at puppetry workplace comedies.
Here's the funny thing: is you're doing animated shows next, right?
Uh-huh.
Puppetry is a form of animation.
Oh my God! You know what? Maybe we should just do like a special bonus content about just the Muppets. Honestly,
just the Muppets.
Record, you mean a 4-hour episode?
90 minutes. Oh,
I'm saying it's bonus content. It could be maybe a limited series.
I'm on board. We'll be moving into adult animation, where, of course, that kind of cynical narcissism and mean-spiritedness is long past. Anyway, in unrelated news, South Park has got renewed for 10 more seasons.
Oh, I saw that. What the fuck? Why? Why are people still watching this shit?
10?
We will not be reviewing South Park.
And 14 movies? Wasn't that it, too? 10 seasons and 14 movies? I was like,
I want to fucking vomit. I want to fucking vomit. Anyway,
I was like, too bad there's no other television shows or nobody else making adult animation and television.
No shit.
This has been Syndicated with Lesley and Ben, a twice-monthly podcast about television, genre, and storytelling. Thank you so much for joining us, Jay. It was an absolute blast to talk with you about this.
Thank you.
Again, we'll hit you up when it's time to play some music and light some lights. When we talk about the Muppet Show, not tonight.
Nice, Ben.
Anyway, we're wrapping up our workplace comedy season. We will be getting into adult animation soon. Thank you so much for listening. That's infinitybreak.net/syndicated. Oh, I think brand new since we recorded our last episode, Syndicated WLAB is our new Twitter, @syndicated WLAB. Frequently I use the hashtag SWLAB, or SWLAB as I think it out loud in my brain.
I think it too out loud in my brain to SWLAB.
But you can follow us at Syndicated WLAB for more syndicated content. I'm the only one with access, I realize. I've mostly just been retweeting random GIFs from Seinfeld.
That's beautiful, though. It's beautiful.
So far.
Also,
Lesley, I'll give you access,
why don't I have access? I'm going to retweet some stuff.
You want to retweet some GIFs from, I don't know, Veep, so there's still more Julia Louis-Dreyfus content?
Hell yeah.
You two are a blast.
Oh, thank you.
Infinity Break 23, infinitybreak.net, Syndicated WLAB, patreon.com/Infinity Break. You know where to find us. Thank you so much.
You know where to find us. Thank you so much.
Bye.